Hello and welcome to another episode of the podcast for the recently deceased. I am Nate Roberts.
I am Rodney Godek. How you doing, brother?
I am doing very well. This was a fun week. I got to watch Orphan First Kill, which we're going to talk about tonight, but I also got to rewatch Orphan for actually the second time. I had only seen it once. Um, and
Really? Yeah.
yeah, so I was reminded of how good it was in comparison to how bad the sequel was. The prequel was.
Sure. The prequel. That's fair. This was my first viewing of Orphan. I had not seen it in 2009 or between then and now, and so I feel like I came at it with a different perspective than I would have had in 2009. But to be honest, I think that I would have felt even more strongly the way that I feel about it now. I think it would have been even more vehemently anti-orphan back then, because I guess I was really getting into horror by then and brushing up on all kinds of older stuff that or hidden gems of the genre that weren't as widely known or distributed. I was
Hmm.
eating all that stuff up, and so something like this that was more of a mainstream type told story, as unique as it was, I think it still had that sheen of a summary blockbustery studio film, you know.
Right, right. Um, yeah, it definitely was an A film, like an A film, an A-list film. Vera Farmiga, who we know and love from all the James Wan stuff, playing the mother, was awesome. It's just too bad they didn't get Patrick Wilson to play the husband, because that would have been
Oh,
fan. That was just would have tickled
too
me
much.
pink. I would have loved it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, we've got a lot to discuss. I think that tonight will be fun. We both are strongly opinionated about each of these films in different ways,
yes,
and
absolutely.
it's sort of the talk of the town. The
Yeah, the internet's going crazy
seeming,
for Orphan First Kill, and
yeah,
it's hard to tell why exactly. When you watch Orphan First Kill, as I said earlier, Orphan is like a horror film, and Orphan First Kill is like a horror movie, in that it felt more like a bad Child's Play sequel that didn't have Chucky in it than it felt like the original. They steered very far away from the atmosphere. There was very little suspense. It was more like a action slasher. There was very little tension, right? Um,
yeah.
so so
It's
for so
it's
f-
odd. I think it falls victim to, like, taking an existing IP, an existing what I've heard some people describe as a like a cult classic or slasher. Or the wall of slasherdom is where Esther belongs, and that's just lunacy. But at any rate, it takes what was done before and it does a bit of a disservice. We just had Prey. That was that last week, yeah,
yeah.
wasn't it?
No,
No,
Resurrection was last week.
Resurrection. Like 2 weeks ago, we did Prey, where it knows the source material and it respects and honors it and kind of does new things, but still keeps the spirit of it alive. And this film, it sort of was hindered in a way, or at least had was hampered by the fact that it was never going to be able to compete with the reveal from the original.
Right.
That reveal slash twist was so unique and creative at that time that you can't do that again. And so I feel like the whole film was like, okay, well, what are we gonna do that's gonna be our thing and different or unique?
Yeah.
And
I
I
mean
think
that.
they're so focused on that that they didn't remember the reveal from the first one. Like, no, that's knowing that now is what should make all of what's going to happen a ton of fun, and you should just
Right.
lean into that and the absurdity of it, the camp of it, the b of it,
Yeah.
and just go, balls to the wall with playing with that. And
Yeah.
they just they but they didn't. They played it safe, almost as if, you know it, but most characters have to pretend they don't. And we'll get into the twist. I didn't want to just talk about
Yeah,
the
yeah.
twist
Let's not talk about
of
the
the
twist
first one.
yet. So,
Yeah.
so there's some broad strokes to tell you a little bit about the show. We like to give you a spoiler-free review in a little bit of time, like a short amount of time. I wouldn't say as quickly as possible, but sooner than later. And then we will start a full spoiler-ridden discussion as we dive deep into the film, and maybe it's sequels, maybe it's prequels, maybe it's writers, etc., directors, and so on. That being said, I think Orphan First Kill, while trying to, as you just said, recreate the lightning in a bottle that was the original Orphan, um, in my opinion, not yours. uh, they shot themselves in the foot over and over and over again, and I have to land at a 5 out of 10. I would probably give this movie a 4 if it didn't have Isabel Furman in it, and I just love her so much. She's so fantastic. Um, she's the only reason to watch Orphan First Kill. Orphan is a fantastic movie. I own it. It should be on your shelf. Um, if you're not an Isabel Furman fan, you can skip Orphan First Kill completely.
So I similarly landed at a 5, and I think that rest at a 5. I come at this with a different perspective. I thought that Orphan was not good. Um, I gave Orphan a 4 for myself out of 10, 4 out of 10. Uh, and I felt that Orphan in general, at least looking at it now, is that it wanted to be camp, but it was too often presenting things or describing things or shooting things or acting. The characters were acting things in such a way that was like not leaning into that. That was like trying to be serious or slick or creative too often, and it was like jarring. It was like, well, which one are you trying to do? You can't do both. And then there's like nitpicky things through the story that are just like asinine to me. The way that this happens to that happens, and it's like there's the suspending of disbelief, of course, but there's just too many affronts to that took me out of the movie. That made me just like look at it as an outsider. I didn't get sucked in. Like I wasn't immersed. I was just like I was analyzing it the whole time, and maybe I brought a little bit of like angst towards it. Like I'm gonna kind of shit on this regardless of how I feel, but I feel like I'm being pretty genuine to how I feel though. I'm just nitpicking maybe a little harder. So I suppose if you were to take my 4, at most it would probably go up to would be a 6 if I try to look at it a little bit differently, less emotionally or less annoyed or frustrated. Maybe a 6, maybe, but it's a 4 for me. So first kill, yes, it lands at a 5, and there's so many reasons why, and I want to discuss all of those with you because uh, the similarities from the original, where they parted ways, and things that they did different and better. There's a lot to talk about, and it's a fun thing to talk about because in the end, both these films can be fun, and you can watch them and have a good time. They're both watchable movies. That's not giving much praise, but
I
right,
don't know.
they're both
I
watchable
I don't know
movies.
how you're giving Orphan First Kill a higher score than the original Orphan, but we'll find out. Um, I think right there was the spoiler warning. From here on out, if you haven't seen Orphan First Kill, go watch it before you
Or
come.
Orphan, because I mean,
Oh
if you haven't
yeah,
seen
yeah,
Orphan,
definitely watch
one
both.
you
Yeah,
have to, yeah, you got to see Orphan before you see Orphan First Kill, and what we're going to talk about will ruin Orphan and then turn
no,
ruin First Kill. So
yeah,
go watch them if you haven't.
absolutely watch Orphan first. This is not a situation where you can watch the prequel and first, or even try to watch it in chronological
Yeah,
order.
you'll be more annoyed. So,
Okay, so
you want to give the tagline? We didn't do that yet. Why don't we
yeah,
do that now, and then we'll get
sh-
into it?
sure. Orphan First Kill. After orchestrating a brilliant escape from an Estonian psychiatric facility, Esther travels to America by impersonating the missing daughter of a wealthy family. Directed by
Wow.
William Brent Bell. Written by David Coggeshall. starring Isabel Fuhrman, Julia Stiles, and Rossif Sutherland.
So I'm gonna stop them right there. A brilliant
A
escape.
brilliant escape.
How
That
about
is
an escape that requires the dumbest fucking psychiatric facility runners in the history and art teacher that is a complete dumb fuck?
that is somehow trained psychopath who kills for candy.
Itty,
I think
itty,
I rolled my eyes like 3 times during
a
that
ton.
that escape, and I'm like, hey, this is how the movie starts.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
It was
here we
very
go.
disappointing
Yeah,
because it's so in and this is taking place at the Sarin Institute, which is the Bible that she has in the first
right.
movie. It's like, ooh, we get to see what things are like. And it's like at first they make it seem very serious and very secure. The art teacher comes in and she's going to do art therapy for the patients, and the guy's really thankful. And he's like, "Oh, you're replacing the person that just died. Cool." And she's like, "What? The what? Okay."
Yeah,
And then lockdown. Guess what? She's locked down with fucking Esther.
yeah,
Of
yeah.
course.
Of course. I mean, it's 90 minutes. The original Orphan was 2 hours and 2 minutes. These
Yes.
movies these
Oh my
movies
god. So long and really really. Oh
these
my god.
these
That
movies
was
are
painful.
these movies are very very different. Um,
Yeah.
the original took a ton of time with character development and its side stories and B plots. The Orphan First Kill didn't have a B plot. It was literally just like action beat, action beat, twist,
Yeah.
action beat, climax, and that's the movie. Um, which is generally, I mean, okay, like that's a popcorn movie, popcorn horror, whatever. Like I'd enjoy that. On
Right, but it doesn't start hitting the gas. It's idling until halfway when the reveal happens.
right, right,
There's
okay,
nothing inspiring or exciting about it until that point. And then
right.
and at that point happens, it's like, okay, it's starting to be fun, but then like, oh, it's over already. Like I got that for maybe 30 minutes tops.
It's over
I
already,
feel like it happens.
and the kills were disappointing.
Yeah. Again, they're not like they're not going all into it.
In the first movie, they say that the family burned alive in a fire, and no, that's
Not so much.
not so much. And
Right. So that's what they're hammering. Like how this movie is going to go through. That's the other thing too. They're
yeah,
working against.
another problem is the story because the story gets told in the first movie. So naturally, what I would do is make a movie that is not that story. Make it another family that she cons. Make it another anything. Why are they telling the story that gets told in the first movie? Now they have to.
Well, they can't tell a different story. They can't make it like a different origin. It has to at least. But I mean, there is a period of time. The only window that they have is a period of time breaking out of the facility before getting to America, or another family that was from the adoption agency or whatever. Like there could have been other families that occurred before or after the family that burns.
Yes, absolutely. And they could have
It
just
could have
picked.
been.
They could have just made one up
Yeah.
and just written a
Right.
better movie.
Right.
All right. So to what we said before the spoiler section started, this movie also had to fight against the twist. And
Mhm.
and apparently its solution was to draw parallels to the original film over and over and over again. And every time it did what the original film did, only worse. Right?
I mean, okay, so like which I mean, yeah, yeah, all the elements that are included in this movie that reference the original movie, yeah, they're not done as well
Right.
for the most part.
So
But then
so
again, like there's no some of the things that were done in the original movie aren't done very well either. So
well,
it's not like as if
that's okay. That's okay. We're here to talk about First Kill. No, self-referential material usually comes in the form of sequels and is usually done for like a comedic element or a plot device. Doing it in a prequel, you got to be careful, and it does it in such a way that almost felt forced every time, shoehorned, like didn't belong. It was like, uh, the father paints with blacklight.
No, 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 no. To me, that was an intelligent solution to a really dumb fucking plot device that had no purpose or meaning whatsoever
Wait,
in the
why?
original movie.
Why was she
They
doing that?
made it.
Oh,
They
that's
gave it
yeah.
a point.
That scene
In
was
the
that
first
scene was bad.
movie, in the first movie, it's 100%. We want to have pretty cool glowing lights and make it eerie. It You see this paint when the lights are on, Nate. Like it doesn't go invisible. It's
Right.
still on the canvas, and you still
Yeah.
see the sheen is different than all the other paints around it. You can see the fucking demons drawn on it.
Yeah.
And then like, I'm sorry, but an aquarium bulb that's black light is not going to illuminate your whole room in black light so you can see all the stuff. So it's like, okay, it's the art of it. Just have fun. So in this film, I liked that they decided to have the father because it also makes it also bridges the gap to the love or the passion of lust or the desires that Esther has for the man in her life, or for this man at least, and that you can see that they're making sense of why she's tormented or holds on to this as she's moving forward into the first movie. I enjoyed the connection. I still think it's a cheap little thing, and like the quick little ticker of the lights to go on and off. It's like, okay, it's a little bit hokey, but I enjoyed that one. Um, I think that the the temper tantrum in the airplane
Right.
bathroom,
Which was the temper tantrum in the bathroom at the
and
psychiatrist's office. Yeah. Was it's like what are you guys doing? Like um okay, the twist, right? So they have to come up with a twist that's as shocking as Orphan, or they're gonna try. They're gonna try their best.
mhm.
And I'll give it to them that the twist was pretty good.
I
Like
liked the twist
the
for
twist
sure.
was the twist was probably the best, the best written thing in the movie.
Yeah, I
Um,
was like, oh, and I looked over to my wife and I was like, oh, that's what she knows.
she knows, right? So the
Crazy.
mom, yeah, the mom or the wife and the older brother know that Esther is an imposter the whole time because the older brother killed Esther and the wife covered it up. Now the
Yeah.
father doesn't know, and the whole reason this con takes place is because him finding out the news brought him back to life, according to the wife, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And she's willing to put up with Esther because of what it's doing mentally for the husband, and obviously,
Right.
like their whole marriage is getting back together, and everything is starting to feel good again.
Yeah.
Um, of course, the older brother is not interested at all in playing nice.
Yeah, he's not interested in the theater of it all. He hates her and questions it because here's the other thing too that's in the background of this film that's never really addressed and just is makes it more frustrating to approach. Who are these people?
Right.
You know, there's a moment in the film where Julia Stiles' character, which is Trisha Albright, Albright, I don't even remember the name. Doesn't matter. It matters in the sense that like her background, she mentions like that her family came over on the Mayflower. I think like that they
Yeah.
were part of the originators of this country. And it's like your place doesn't look like that goddamn impressive. Like if your descendants and you're like, there's no who's making the money. I questioned this in the first movie too. Like, how do you afford this lifestyle of luxury, seemingly, or your son is a fencing all star? Uh, like they don't address it. Their house is nice, but it's not nice enough where like they need, housekeepers or maids or anything like that. Like they're not cleaning, but like nothing is really fleshed out. You know, it's just these wealthy people that are yes or whatever, and she's philanthropic. That's all you know. She's philanthropic, and this guy's an artist. And it's like you're definitely not making money off his art background. So I don't understand. I hate
Yeah.
that it's not fleshed out. You needed
Right.
more to understand
No, no, absolutely.
something.
The character development of the first orphan was definitely lacking in First Kill. Um,
Hmm.
right. Okay, so you've got the twist. So the twist is what creates like
the fun part of the movie.
the whole, yeah, the second half, which is okay. Well, Esther can start killing people now because she's not hiding anymore. Um, so also something interesting about these two films is when you're watching the first Orphan, the protagonist is Vera Farmiga, the mother, and you're along the ride for the ride with her.
Right.
She suspects Esther. She is gaslighted by her husband and the psychiatrist. You know, you're crazy. You're reading into things. And get out of my house and blah blah blah, and all these horrible things happen to her. And you're like, no, she's right. Just listen to her.
Right.
Get that crazy bitch out of your house. In the prequel, Esther is the protagonist. You are rooting for Esther the
Yeah.
whole time. She's the hero of the movie. Well, one, you know she survives because it's a prequel. So the prequel has those inherent flaws that you have to deal with.
Yeah.
But when you get the twist, oh, these are bad people, and Esther's gonna do some cleaning up, right? Like,
Yeah, and it's gonna be fun and it's gonna be entertaining. You can't wait for her to do it. But there's only two people, and it's like
there's
how
only
it
two
better you
people.
better build up and make it exciting, and
Oh
they
no,
don't.
there's a detective. He's on the
Right.
case. Oh my
Yeah.
God, three kills besides the stupid escape in the beginning? Like,
But that's the thing. Like that reveal doesn't happen until way far into the movie.
yeah,
Up to that point, like you said, the twist is unique. The having no backstory that angers you for the
yeah,
whole first half of the movie because you're like, why the shit is the mother and son so not on board? Why are they not acting like this is their long lost daughter? Like
right,
maybe that would like make you like be like, there's something amiss, but it doesn't because they're playing it so straight. There's no wink or no
yeah,
subtlety to like clue you in like that something's off with them. It's just no, they seem like shitty people. Or the only thing you could connect like, oh, they're so wealthy and posh, like they probably have a detached relationship anyways. You're left aimless. And
yeah,
it's not until that drop happens and then you're like, "Oh, that's awesome. I hate those people because I hated them before because they didn't seem to like her. And now I hate them because they killed their own daughter. Oh my god, this is going to be fun." But it's too little, too late. Yeah, there's still almost half of a movie left, but I don't you've already taken me out of it and I'm not excited for it. I'll watch it, but you're going to have to do a lot to pull me back in, and I don't think it ever does.
right. It definitely doesn't, and especially when the kills start, they're they're not good. They're just it
The
was such
best ki-
it
the
was like a
best kill
rushed
is
ending.
Julia Stiles at the end. That was like the only cool like little visual
Yeah.
excitement, and it was kind of it was this much of the screen.
Yeah,
Like
well,
they
right,
just
but then the father died the exact same way. Like, you're gonna kill the only like two of the three people that you have to kill in this movie the exact same way within 5 seconds of each other. Like, what? Like, there's no chase. Like, he could have at least chased her around the house. In the first movie, it says they died in a house fire.
yeah, I know.
They both splatted on the pavement. That is
No
not
one
dying in a house fire.
no one died in a house
No
fire.
one died in the house fire.
Again, not
um,
that you have to follow that, but that's the other thing. It's just like I mean, they're just not doing enough to pull you in. You know the twist. You know that she's an adult. You should be hyping that up and having fun, doing all kinds of crazy things with her where she's in situations where she has to be a certain way or is a certain way, or she's doing nefarious deeds. And it's like maybe what's frustrating is because you know the twist. So like just do that. Have fun with that. And they do it so little in this movie. Like it's only for a short period of time where the mother plays her hand and it's already halfway gone, and where she does the thing with the rat, which is again another thing that's just so stupid. And here's the one other thing, the big thing I hate about this, Nate. She's an expert con artist. They said in the facility she's under
right.
lockdown and they have such high standards of security because she is a mastermind, and you see it at the beginning because she has seduced one of the guards
The guards,
and has
yeah.
made him buy her something so that, and then he's gonna like come in and she's gonna like get intimate with him, and then she bashes his head. That was an awesome, that scene was awesome start.
Right.
Everything about how the escape happens is not. That was a good hook though. Uh so they just let it go. There's no more her doing all the, like, if she's an expert con artist, like she acts like this is her first time. She's on the plane with the mother and they're talking about the therapy thing, and she shows a photo of the grandmother and she lets it slip like, I can't wait to see her. And the mother's like, well, she's dead. And so it's like, okay, she, and then she goes and gets a bottle of vodka, pounds it in the restroom, and then like freaks out, has her little panic tantrum, and it's like, I thought she was an expert fucking conman. You don't think that a conman would like not overplay their hand, and like, it's an old person.
Yeah.
There's a good chance that person's not with us anymore. You
Right,
have
right.
been missing
Yeah,
for
yeah.
X years. Why would you say that? That's not real.
Yeah. It's the same thing in the therapist's office when she talks to the parrot.
Yeah. I oh, and that's the other thing too. Julia Stiles, there's a scene where she lectures her on the bed about the difference between a parrot and a macaw. And I think
Yeah.
she's like, all macaws are parrots, but not all
Not all
parrots are
parrots are
macaws.
macaws.
You fucking idiot. And I'm like, is this a real movie right now? Like, is it
Yeah.
like that? I guess was maybe fun B camp like absurdity, but I can't believe they actually did that. Like, it was kind of like just annoyingly dumb. Like, waste of a scene.
Right, right. Well,
Uh,
yeah, I mean, if we want to talk about the performances too, like, you know, Julia Stiles, she's hit or miss for me, but she definitely missed in this movie. The older brother was annoying. The father
Nolan
was,
was a good dick. Like, he definitely played like an
oh,
asshole that you. He was like Joffrey in Game of Thrones. Like, you didn't like
you
him.
didn't like him. Yeah,
So I
the
think
fa
he was
the
good in that regard.
yeah, the father was kind of throwaway. Like once again, Isabel Furman only like the only reason to watch the movie.
Yeah,
Um,
he reminds me of what's his name's brother from Everybody Loves Raymond, big doofy guy.
oh, Brad Garrett.
Brad, yeah, he kind of gave me
Yeah,
Brad
yeah.
Garrett vibes a little bit.
Yeah. He just like walks around the scene and has like one line. He gets to it eventually in his own time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the it's just so, the twist being so late is just the biggest disservice, because she's playing this part, and so have more scenes where there's interactions where she has to, she relies on that or she uses that to an advantage, or there's an interesting situation that she's in where she has to do something or get out of an ordeal,
Get
or
her
she
to
can't be exposed in some kind of way.
get her to America in a different way and have her find out about the missing girl Esther in America and then have her con the American police.
Sure.
Make the movie a little longer. Give us something to watch. Like
See,
they
yeah, the length. I'm glad that it was not longer. If it was better and longer, maybe that would have been okay. But the first one for me was so annoyingly long. There's so much unnecessary and just shitty scenes in
the
that movie.
first one is so good. Every scene in that
It
movie
is so,
is good.
no, it's so bad.
I'll,
It's
I'll
so
I'll
bad.
I'll give you the 5 seconds they spent on her flicking that light on and off was a waste. But other than that, that movie was pretty fucking good.
I hated it. I didn't like it at all. Like, and for me, like, it also like that bullet would have ricocheted off the ice and hit one of those people. It wouldn't have like gone through the ice. It was at too low an angle. It would have went and someone would have got shot.
Yeah.
But like,
Well,
also,
I still stand by why'd they make a prequel? They should have made a sequel. This is horror. They didn't have, there was
yeah,
no
bring it back.
body. There was no body.
No,
I mean, all common sense points to she's dead, but like, no body. Just make a fucking
yeah, I know.
sequel.
Right, you could do whatever, and it would make sense a little bit. So okay, the big thing about it is, the actress is 25 years old. Isabel Furman is 25, and
Yeah.
now she's playing a 10-year-old or
9 year
9-year-old,
old.
9-year-old. So they use a lot of camera trickery, and this is another device that it, they want to be realistic about it, you know, but it's ham-fisted at times, and it's so obvious a child body double in other
Yeah.
times that it just pulls you out. And it's like, okay, you get that that has to happen, but it's also they're they're they want there to be an illusion, but the illusion is so broken at times. It's like just embrace the fact that it's going to be stupid. You know, go the route of Wet Hot American Summer, where there's a 50-year-old Janine Garofalo playing a 16-year-old camp
Camp
counselor. You know what I mean?
counselor.
Like do that.
I am no Ruth Buzzy. No Ruth Buzzy over here.
I mean, that because there's scenes where they even build a larger set, it seems, and this adult, like, yes, she is short
Yeah.
for an adult female, but she's still an adult female. And like, I think they show her go up to a desk, and it looks so comically oversized. Like, if you've ever seen images of behind the scenes when films do this, like Elf with Will Ferrell, they do a lot of forced perspective in the same setting, and it works beautifully. But that's a little different situation. Or like Gandalf um, in the Shire, amongst like in Bilbo's Underhill. What's
Hobbit hole.
Yeah, I feel like it has a name. I feel bad for not knowing it, but either way, um, like there's a lot of cool images there, or like small items that Gandalf has to interact with, and it works. It's a little bit off sometimes, but for the most part, it works. Like here, it's so exaggeratedly wrong that it just draws your attention and takes you away from the idea that this is a child. It doesn't. I don't ever think that it's a child throughout the whole movie. Like only the
Yeah.
scenes where it's clearly a child interacting with an adult and it's from the back. That's where it looks like a child, but whenever you see the face, it's like it's not a child.
Yeah.
So it keeps pulling you in and out of the illusion, breaking that
Yeah.
that immersion gets broken so frequently that it's hard to go along with it. And I feel like almost would be better if they just like don't address it. Like let her just be the same height as you, but be a 10. I don't know. It might have been funnier or campier then. You
Yeah.
know?
Well, maybe. I saw the how Esther gets around clip, or it's this little this tiny little bike, like like wheelchair almost, that they made for her, that she sits on and makes her shorter, and it just like zooms around the floor. So I don't know, maybe she has to like move her head to make it look like she's actually taking steps when she's rolling around the
Yeah, yeah,
set.
yeah. There's a few shots where she's like looking around the corner. I remember seeing that in the insane asylum or whatever. That was pretty neat,
Yeah.
man. So the there's a few other things like it has its under siege moment. You're the moment of Daisy Edgar Jones looking at the knives or the cell phone or the window to get her escape and fresh, which I'm donning this evening.
Ah, yes,
Um,
yes, yes.
it does that. It does that in this movie with the son's crossbow scene.
Yeah.
A so unnecessarily shoehorned scene that serves zero purpose for the
Zero
plot,
purpose. Yeah.
means nothing. The only reason it's there is to be like, hey guys, there's a crossbow in this
Yeah.
house.
It's the smoking crossbow. It's in the first act. It will get fired in the second act.
And it's so dumb. Like he's shooting a target hanging on the thing, and his like dad's with him. Like, what? What? Why? I don't. Oh, so there's that, which was insane. And there's two other things that like I want to nitpick and like bitch about. Um, using Interpol's evil in a montage of the son fencing at the beginning of the movie was like, why? Like, it's not a new song. It might have been like at all. It's very old. It's from like 2000 or
Oh,
2001,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't even think about
and
that.
it's a
I
different
totally forgot
pacing,
about it. Yeah.
and it's so like out of place. And I guess it's like, okay, evil, like, is that meant to just like be a subtle reference to them being off or to him being weird? It's like I kind of get that. Like he's a fucking fancy prick that fences. Like I already hate this kid. You don't have to say anything more. He's taking fencing seriously. That's all I need to know. I don't like this character.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's bizarre. Uh, like it could have been anything. You could have done like, and again, he breaks his epee in that fight, and guess what? The epee comes back at the end of the movie. Epee is a fencing sword for
Yes.
those of the viewing audience that might not be aware in the highbrow art of fencing. Uh, And then the rat. What is this rat?
Oh, her buddy, her friend there. I
I'm
thought,
supposed to believe that this house, in all of its beauty and splendor and poshness, has a rat that just goes through her air duct into her room and eats mac and cheese.
and dies. Well, I mean that's the inciting incident though. Like when that
I know,
happens,
I
she's
know. That's
like,
where.
"Oh, she tried to kill me.
Oh,
It's on. Here we go."
yeah, yeah.
Oh.
It's asinine.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I
then
mean, it was all over. The movie is literally all over the place, and I don't even know.
and then so then there's the scene where where she escapes from their shopping or whatever, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
And
what
then
does she
she
try to
escapes.
do?
She maces them and she
Oh,
escapes. Well,
right.
and then she gets in the car and she's speeding away, listening to Maniac,
Yeah.
and cops pull her over. And so then she puts on lipstick. She's smoking a cigarette. She's got shades on, and she's trying to play it cool. Like that could
And
have been funny. Like if
I
he'd done that a lot more
yeah.
of that,
I think that was supposed to be funny, and
but it was
it
just
was
flat.
really just stupid, and it completely fell flat. I'm just like when it was happening, I was like, this makes no sense at all.
Yeah, like
Like,
because you're not showing any of this like over the top absurdity of her like playing with the juxtapositioning of like being a 30-year-old grown woman and in a 9-year-old's body. Have fun with that. We all know that that's what's happening. Put her in situations where it's accentuated and it's
yeah.
hilarious, or she makes comments that are like, why is a 9-year-old saying that or doing that? And they don't do that at all, you know. um
Not to mention, there's stuff that they just is like important to Esther's story that they don't do. Like, she's wearing the neck and wrist things, which
yeah,
we get to see the scars in the hospital, and I think there was a flashback right to her like kind of tied up like that or something,
I don't
a
remember that part, but
memory or
yeah,
whatever. Maybe not.
right,
Either way,
because she doesn't get them right away.
either way,
uh
it just gets mentioned, right?
right,
Like
right.
it doesn't get interacted with at all, like or or even talked about really, except for like the Julia Stiles has like an off comment about the stupid shit on her neck and wrists like that.
She goes to
That's
grab it. She goes to grab it, and Esther grabs her wrist
yeah.
and stops her from touching her.
And it's like, okay, I mean, is that all you're gonna do? Like, in the in the original, you've got the this like it gets talked about more, it gets discussed more. Like it's a thing, and it should have been a
Right. The
thing.
kids make fun of her and all
Yeah,
this,
and she's she screams when the girl tries to touch her in that once in the school. Um, she she takes them off to use to bathe or whatever, and then she puts them back on. Like there's all sorts of stuff about Esther that kind of gets glossed over.
well, and like so that's the other thing. She's a again, she's an expert con artist, and she leaves this Bible with all of her fucking intentions just sitting out on top of the record player while she goes to take care of the cop that stole the record to dust for prints. Which again, also that was another thing. Maybe I'm a rube, a bit of a hayseed, but I don't think that a black light illuminates fingerprints on just random objects that I touched unless I touched something significant. Or was I
Uh,
like, because that's
was
how he finds the record
Yeah,
with
right,
prints
right,
on it.
right. Yeah.
He just has a black
Did
light.
I like stick my finger in some maple syrup and then stick it onto the record?
Right.
It's
Like,
also
I guess you could.
it's also on paper, right? It was the paper like label
Right.
on the
Yeah.
record.
The
It wasn't
vinyl.
the
Yeah.
record itself.
Right. So like, I mean, is it the paint from the art studio, which is kind of like he got really fucking lucky that she happened to have paint, that there happened to be an artist that uses glow in the dark paint that she got a finger on that did touch the record with, didn't clean her hand off, and they left two perfect prints on it so they could match them. Like so much like what, how, like, and
Yeah.
you're pulling me out, and
Well,
it's not done, and it's not done in such a way that makes it heightened to like, yes, this is absurd, we know it's absurd. again, we're going to mention it, and we're going to mention it in the post-show wrap-up. Malignant, we're going to mention it for a different reason,
Yep,
a
we
potential
we
this,
are
yeah.
going to mention it for a different reason.
Uh, but like they're not shooting this movie in a way that clues you in that that's how you should perceive this movie. It's absurd, it's dumb, it's B, it's camp, it's fun of itself. It's not good and have fun because it's not good. Like they're not trying hard or they're intentionally making it stupid. They're not doing that. Like it's too refined and crisp and serious,
Yeah,
and with a couple moments that are B camp
yeah.
moments.
I agree. If they went full B with the prequel, they would have made a much better film.
Yeah, it
And
would be so much more fun.
they
How
completely.
can you not with a premise like this, Nate?
Yeah, yeah, no, exactly, exactly. Especially after the twist has
Yeah,
already been spoiled from the first
you
movie.
already
You
know it.
you
Yeah,
already know it, so you have to just you can't you know recork the bottle. Like
yeah,
it's already out there. Like
yeah.
oof,
You
what do
know,
you?
okay, so you know that this family dies in a fire. Let the family be its own little side thing and develop a relationship with all the kids at the school and turn her into like a serial killer in the school. All of a sudden,
Yes,
kids just start disappearing and dying
disappearing.
because
Yeah,
they're bothering her
that.
or whatever, or teachers that are being mean
Yes.
to her and she kills them and it's in the school and she's hiding in different classrooms and it's a classroom aesthetic. She's got to pretend to be a kid, but she's an adult. Like all these things.
I'm so glad you said that because that reminded me of another thing I wanted to say about these two movies. In the original, she attacked children.
Yeah,
In the sequel, she didn't. It was just the
yeah,
family and the detective. In the original, this little girl pissed her off, and she's 30, and the little girl is 9, and she tries to kill her.
yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah, and then
absolutely.
she's
Like,
kills the nun. She's trying to kill the brother, trying to burn the brother
trying to,
alive in his treehouse.
yeah, yeah, like,
And she's watching like with this sick grin on her face, which is like
yeah,
again, I'll give it credit. Like they're building a cool character, and like there's some cool stuff that is happening in that first one. I don't
yeah.
like the presentation, but there's cool stuff there compared to this one. A lot more cool. And yeah, like dude, it's so baffling to me. What is so frustrating in the end about it is that there's still so many people that are, for whatever reason, eating up this film. It's currently sitting at a higher rating than its predecessor on the Roddy T's. Uh,
It is not
I'm
though on IMDb. IMDb
It's not
has,
on IMDb,
thank
the
God.
original higher, and it's perplexing to me. And I don't. Here's the thing: if you enjoy this movie, cool. I'm glad it worked for you. It didn't work for me at all, and a lot of different reasons why. Um, I am concerned, like that. There's a lot of people that are promoting or pumping up this movie for false pretenses. I don't trust their. These are all subjective and opinions, but I think that it just feels swayed, like where you want this to be good, and so you're kind of telling it that it is good, even though it might not be, or you're giving it too much allowances for making mistakes or things that
It's
would normally take you out of a movie. You're giving it, you're grading on a curve for
it's
this
yeah.
one if
It's
you're
literally
saying it's
like when
good.
you walked out of Phantom Menace and you were like, "That movie was fucking awesome," and then 2 weeks later you were like, "What a steaming pile of shit! Why did I think that was good 2 weeks ago?" Because
Yeah.
you watched it full of anticipation and excitement and the hype train. Orphan First Kill is unfortunately not good. I'm sorry to tell you
No,
guys.
no one will talk about this movie in another couple weeks or in the years to come. Like there's no, I don't believe. It's hard to say. People are talking about that it did decent in because it was playing in a couple theaters, and people are talking about
498 theaters made 1.2 million. It would have.
and people are saying like they want it in more theaters because they want to make even more money. And I'm confused. Like I, it's I want horror to get more money. I want horror films in the genre to get more viewership, but I want to promote good horror. And I can't, in good conscience and good faith, tell you that this is a good representation of the genre. I think
Right.
this is a highlight of things that go wrong when,
What?
especially when people are using an existing IP
When
and
you're
retelling
trying to,
a
yeah,
story.
this is a prime example of what the bad things that can happen from milking an IP.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, you're riding the
absolutely.
coattails of your original source material, and you're not heightening it. You're not doing something unique and different in a way that's creative enough and its own thing enough. You're not. Uh, and so it's just I can't in good faith say that this is a worthy film. I want people to see it, make your own
Yeah.
opinions, but for me, like this is not the film to don't die on this mountain. like
Right, right.
there,
You
there's
know
so
that
many more worthy films that should have gotten theatrical releases. Fresh this year would have been
fresh
amazing for people to see in the theater. It got kind of like hidden on Hulu. Some people have seen it, but not a lot of people have seen it.
prey.
Yeah, Prey.
Prey.
Man.
Fresh. Okay. So uh, also shit, what were you just saying? Ah, you were just saying something and I was like, "Oh, I can't wait for him to finish."
I
Cuz
apologize. We're just
yeah, it's
talking
okay.
about we're talking at the fan base
The fan base,
and how people were like disingenuous about it or what they did or
no.
didn't do.
I am
Okay.
going. I'm just going to go ahead and agree that that these reviews seem totally bought. Or yeah, you know, you're just like, well, I love the first one, so I'm gonna love the second one. Um, and it's unfortunate because this movie doesn't need to be in more theaters.
Oh, we were talking about the plot to the potential what they could have done in the school and all that.
Oh,
Is we
right, right,
think
right, right. Oh, yeah, yeah. What I was gonna say was, you know, the plot twist. Okay, the setup was good enough, and then the plot twist comes, and you're like, oh, well, okay, it's not as crazy and huge as the first one, but this is pretty good. Like in
yeah,
comparison to what you had like last movie, this is not bad. Like they killed the daughter and they knew the whole time. Not
yeah, it's
bad.
dark.
But at that moment is when Esther should have started killing. And
Right.
you could have at that time created a killing machine. We are on Esther's side now because we hate the mom and brother characters. Esther's the hero. The slasher, sometimes the slasher is the hero and you want all the campers to die. And that is the situation you created when you revealed this
Yeah.
twist and then you didn't
Yes.
take advantage. You let it meander. You killed the detective without creating any suspense. He didn't get to dust the prints. He didn't get to figure it out. He should have figured it out.
Yeah, he was right
Where
there.
where
Yeah.
where was the suspense? Like where was the build up? And then you come to the climax where she offs the brother like he's nothing. She's on the roof. The place is on fire. She knocks Julia Stiles off the
Yeah.
roof. The father is standing on the roof and she just pushes him off and it's two splats in
I
the
think it's quick and shaky. I think that what happens is he's like shocked, and I think he falls.
yeah,
I think
right.
he like he's like, what is going on, and he just falls. I think
Yes.
that because she's like, I love you.
Yeah.
I don't. But even still, yes,
Even
it's
still,
so quick
two
and
two
rushed, and you don't enjoy like the terror or the breakdown or the release of seeing those awful characters meet their demise, the
right.
mother and the brother. You don't get
Right.
to relish any of it. The brother, you get to see some graphic violence with her taking the epee to his chest. There's some satisfaction there, but it's
Yeah.
like kind of like a quick little cat and mouse that ends rather quick and abrupt, and it just uses the crossbow to put him in that position as sort of
Yeah.
like a boop done. That's why she's able to do it. Like, and it's not fun.
Yeah.
It is a little bit neat to give it some credit. It's fun to see her and Julia Stiles having getting tossed around in the
Yeah.
kitchen where she's just picking her up and throwing her. There's a little
Yeah.
bit of fun
The
there.
fight was
Not a ton
okay.
of fun though, because it's like, oh, that's the other thing too. The sex scene in the original, Nate, where they kept showing the dishwasher,
Yeah.
like and like focusing on the dishwasher, and then that sex scene there's like all these jump cuts, like where it's like they're just like moving around the dishwasher. Me, like there's like cut. I'm like, what the hell am I? What am I watching? This is Liam
Yeah.
Neeson in Taken going over a fence in like 20 cuts. Uh, and then the other scene was like whenever she's getting drunk and she has the wine. It's like the amateur class of how to shoot a scene where you want to show that a character is going through emotional despair and considering getting drunk again because it like has these like quick close-ups of the
Yeah.
wine glass and it gets blurry and
Yeah.
it's like all right, yeah, I get it, guys.
Yeah.
Like I know that she's thinking about this. If she's just standing, you made it clear when she was in the store lying about
Right.
buying it. You don't need to keep showing all this imagery. I understand. I'm not a dummy.
We're having friends
So,
over. Oh,
yeah, that's a
okay.
good one. Yeah,
Oh, okay, lady I've never met
I
before.
didn't ask. Don't care.
Are
Uh,
are you inviting
man,
me?
there's so many ways they could have had more fun with this movie, and like I agree with you 100% that you know get to the cut to the chase, or don't even make that a twist, and just have fun with her doing crazy shit in a
Crazy shit. I
different
mean,
setting.
you
Just put her in her school, put her somewhere.
yeah.
She's going to summer camp for whatever reason, and now
Yeah.
she's gonna go kill a bunch of people for whatever reason because she
Yeah.
just wants to. You don't get the psychosis or the mental instability. You don't they don't tell any real backstory. You just see she escapes, and now she's in America living this life. You don't get
Exactly.
why she's that way. Why is she a expert piano player? Okay, she's old, but was what happened before? Like, was she raised as a piano great?
Right.
Like, or she's
S-
got this genetic disorder or whatever it
Yeah.
is. I can't remember how they labeled it. You don't get any of that.
So
Like, there's stuff there you could have
the
gotten into.
the tag of orphan is there's something wrong with Esther. The tag of orphan first kill is there's always been something wrong with Esther.
Is it?
What
She's
the fuck is it? Like you didn't tell us. Like okay, yeah, well she's psychotic. Okay, we knew that from the first movie. Oh, she's got this weird glandular dwarfism. Okay, yeah, we knew that from the first movie too. Why? This is a
there's
prequel.
always been, yeah, that's what it says on the thing,
Yeah,
Paramount Plus.
it's a prequel. It's called First Kill. There's
Apparently,
she's already
this
in the
isn't,
mental
yeah,
she's
this
already
is
in the
not First
mental
Kill.
institution.
The
There's
Space
no
Ghost Wife.
way. There's no
There's
way
no
this is
First Kill.
First Kill. Why is she the way she is?
Dude,
Where
and
do
you know
those
what?
scars come from? Those scars exist. We still don't have her backstory. This is
This
not
could have been
this could have been an origin.
this could have been Catch Me If You Can, but with a serial killer instead of Frank Abagnale being a pilot and a surgeon and whatever the hell else he was. This could have been, you could have had a Tom Hanks detective on her trail, and she could have just been creating false
Yeah.
lives and killing people in each one.
I, I'll tell
But
you. I'll tell you how you make the movie better with zero effort. Zero effort. Okay. She stalks and kills all three of them slowly in the house, and then burns it down. But while that's happening, the detective is waiting for the AICIF database to come back with the fingerprints, and oh, it came back. But he's already close to the house, so he gets there first before backup can arrive. He goes into the house, she kills the detective, burns the house down, and the cops show up to a burning house, and she's not in there. Better movie. Done. That movie gets a 7.
yeah, I mean, it's like they had to lead her into a position where the illusion still exists, and she just like appears there, like no one figures it out
Well, she
because that's the only
kills.
reason that
Well,
I know, but
when she's stalking them in the house while the detective's doing the detective
right.
work, she kills the brother, then the mother, and then she goes to the husband all covered in blood with the "I love you." He freaks out. You're disgusting. What did you do to my family? Starts crying. She goes, "I love you. I thought you loved me too." Chat chat chat. Kills him. In like this. That would be an easy kill. That would be the easiest kill, because
So
that character was super lame anyway.
there's all kinds of fun things to do. Like, I'm not saying that it's appropriate to discuss menstruation in a movie, but like, she's of age where maybe she menstruates, maybe she doesn't, but like, you could have had like a really gross out, like funny, like scene where like she needs those products or like whatever, and someone, but she's like 9, and then like there's an adult or like the brother or the father, like, wait, what? I don't want to ask, but I should ask, but I don't know how to deal with this right now. Like, it could have been
Yeah.
like something.
Sure.
But no, dude. So the one thing I wanted to mention, the detective. The other thing about the detective, Julia Stiles shows up, finishes the job with all these these bullets to the chest. The way that they tie this up, aside from throwing him in the well, which it might be where Esther is, I'm just going to write a quick email. Dear boss, I am taking a sabbatical effective immediately. signed the detective, and I'm like, what? That's it? That's all it took? I
Yeah,
covered. Yep,
yep.
I've
Co-
covered my
covered
tracks.
about
I can
co-
rest safe and sound now.
the cops will not investigate the disappearance of this
No,
detective.
I studied his emails extensively. He types and alliterates exactly like this. He signs things the detective, and
Yeah,
they'll
exactly.
never suspect anything.
That's what I'm saying. That's why the detective should have found out and created some kind of suspense in revealing or catching. Once again, that also puts Julia Stiles against him because she doesn't want her shit disrupted either. So they could have done so much more with him. Not even the thing that I just made up off the top of my head. Literally,
Well, they could have. The
like
detective could have been not been a part of the story. They could have just like somehow uncovered that the mother knows, and then Esther could have been like, okay, well, guess what? And because clearly they're playing the angle that Esther is really frustrated and annoyed with all of the ways that the mother is just displaying her. Pink's your favorite color now. You're gonna wear pink all the time. You're gonna do this all the time, and blah 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 blah, and like
right.
controlling her life. And she's like, I hate this now. She could have then been like, okay, well, guess what? I'm gonna kill everyone around you in the most horrific way, and now you're going to have to cover up all of these deaths
Yeah.
because if you don't, we're all going down together.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
and she could have just been like going on a spree, and Julia Stiles was like, I gotta cover up this one. How am I gonna cover up this one? And like going around hiding bodies, the well just fills. They're overflowing the top. Like it could have been all this insanity,
You're right.
but no, they
So no. And
they
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 and they're gonna
didn't go all the way.
and they just throw him away in the end. They literally fall two people falling off a building in the exact same way
Yeah.
within seconds of each other. Come on, what a fucking that's like blowing up a bunch of characters in a car. Like what a waste of characters.
Dude.
You blow up one person in a car. You got more than one person in the car. It's a waste.
Uh,
It's like killing Brittany Snow with an alligator. What the fuck? Like what a waste. She could have died way cooler than that.
Yeah, I mean, same with Jackson Hole. Kid Cudi with the shotgun was a bit underserviced, I thought.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
the only thing that made them meaningful and neat and interesting was the foreshadowed elements that happened earlier in the film, and that's sort of like an
Sure.
artful touch with them going out in
You,
that fashion.
you know
So
what?
I
You know what I think
can't
they should
credit
do.
too much.
You know what I think they should do, and I think they've already shot the movie, so they can't do it. And it would have been neat if they did do it. You know how
Direct Pearl.
Like American Horror Story and all that shit, using the same cast. If
Yeah,
if the entire cast of X was in Pearl, playing different characters instead of just
yeah,
Mia Goth, that would be sweet. Like
yeah. And
I would sign up for that.
pretty sure it is just Mia Goth because I
Yeah,
remember in an interview with Ty West, and he was talking about it where they had like delays with getting the footage out of the country or getting developed, and so they had extra time where they were. I think it was New Zealand, I think,
yeah.
and so they were like he asked her, and she was willing to stick around for another month or so.
Oh, cool.
Uh, man, it's unfortunate. It's still entertaining, but there's dude, like we came up with so many other things that could have been done to this film that would have made it infinitely more entertaining. And in the end, like, yeah, this isn't like a serious movie. This is a ridiculous plot, a ridiculous premise. So just embrace that and go all out with it, you know? I mean,
Right.
none of what happened in Malignant made sense, but it knew it and it was done in such a way that it was hilarious. Like that's just the most recent sort of intentionally B movie that had fun and was over the top and was just a popcorn cram your face, have fun with this action horror flick. So
Yeah.
that's the way I think of it. But
So
man,
so
it's so
so
disappointing.
if you go to the credits and you look
Yeah.
at if you look at where this movie came from, the director William Brent Bell, he his only real credits. I mean, he's directed a handful of movies. Are like The Boy and The Boy 2.
Oh, right.
So they're like, oh, this guy has directed, little children that kill people. Let's get him to direct this movie.
Sure.
Okay, so that I mean, I guess I follow the logic there. But then you look at the writer, and he has pretty much just TV credits.
Hmm.
he wrote a movie called Prey, but it was not the Prey that just came out. It looks like a made for
Yeah,
sci. It looks like a made for sci-fi movie.
yeah, sci-fi. Yeah. Haunting
Yes.
in Connecticut. Yeah, no,
Yeah, yeah. So like,
two Haunting in Connecticut.
yeah, staff writer on Scream the series. I mean, Scream the series was actually pretty good, but like,
Yeah,
so I don't know. Like, this movie did not have, the original writer, didn't have the original director. Um, all it had was Isabella Furman, and once again, that's the only reason to watch the movie.
yeah. I mean, it's serviceable if you want like just a very middle of the road um story where it's like, yeah, it's kind of on, but you're not really paying attention. There's a couple parts that'll draw your eye and they're entertaining, but uh overall just below average in the end. Like, and I hate saying that because I wanted it to be good and I would love to be able to find redeeming qualities, but there's not enough to put it even over the 50th percentile. It needs to stay below it. It
Yeah, it
it
has
doesn't
to.
do enough of what it should do. Um, but it's extremely popular. If it is going to go in theaters, like, yeah, sure, go see it in the theaters. I hope it works for you. I think that we've, you know, it's just a weird thing. Like, there's you can't get into all the minutia of it without spoiling it, and you can't tell someone to not see it from the start. Like, it's worth watching, but I you know I don't think that most people are going to enjoy it. But so far, they're proving me wrong on the Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, which is fine. If people are into it, then great. But I mean, I don't get it. I'm not there with them.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. So, with that being said, I gave Orphan First Kill a 5, and that is with a generosity 1 point bump. And the original Orphan, I gave an 8. Rodney?
So Orphan First Kill is sitting at a 5 for me, and the original Orphan sits at a 4 for me.
Tra- Tragedy. That's a tragedy. Um,
Dude, so like, okay, so the bigger, real quick, the other bigger things that I really dislike, they murder this nun, uh, and that's a kind of a cool scene, but like that daughter, the deaf daughter, would be really disturbed and very different in a way that would be concerning to the parents had she actually witnessed that.
oh yeah, the
Uh,
the the
and
behavior.
the and no one like puts two and two together. The nurse comes and says, wherever she goes, bad things happen. This happened, this happened, this happened. They're like, I mean, is it really? Oh, please show up. Yeah, she died right down the road. And the father, I think the Skarsgård's like, do you have any idea what happened? I'm like, hello, what are you talking about? What do you think happened?
Yeah.
Oh my god, like, and if it wasn't that, then there's a murderer right down your road, and you're
Yeah.
just like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, Skars. I actually just watched it like a few hours ago, and Skarsgård was like, he goes, man, that's so awful. Who would do something like
Yeah, I know. He's like ignorance is bliss. Like,
that?
come
He's
on, man.
not my daughter that
Yeah,
I've
and then
that I've
it
had
is
for a
funny.
week.
I know. Uh, and he's like, he ended up. Yeah,
Yeah, he fights very
it's
hard
not
for
for
her.
me.
He does fight very hard for her. Okay, so with so much time left, Rodney and I discussed maybe doing some headlines with you guys. So I think we're gonna try it because we got plenty of time
There's no rules to our time, but
to
we
our
want to
time,
fill some
but
more time with having some
fill some
fun.
more time.
So I guess you want to mention the malignant related news.
I'll let you do that. Let me kick it off though
Oh, well, all
with
right.
yeah, because I got something. Because there's a lot to talk about here. Um, Wednesday comes out soon, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It is a television. probably drama or dramedy. Um,
It's not a
s-
film; it is a series, or is
um,
it a?
I think it is a series.
Okay,
I'm
all right,
fairly
go
certain
on.
it's a series. Let's
Yep.
pretend it is a series. No, it's definitely a series. It's definitely a series. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, directed by Tim Burton. Now, so here's the point of contention, right? Like Tim Burton for me, early career great, middle career late career pretty awful. So not excited about that. What I am excited about is this is a Tim Burton project that doesn't star Helena Bonham Carter or Johnny Depp. So so maybe he'll actually, do something good. So Wednesday, we all know the Addams Family. There was a TV show. It was originally a comic book, and of course a cartoon, and then a couple movies where Christopher Lloyd played, uh, cousin It, right? Or was he? Yeah, he was cousin It.
No, he was Uncle Fester.
Oh, he was Uncle Fester. That's right. He was Uncle Fester. Um, So what's new and big about Wednesday is that it's about Wednesday, and how she gets bumped from school to school to school, and she eventually finds like this private school that works for her, and in a very Harry Potter, Vampire Diaries esque, secluded school for rich weirdos, she finds a home and blah 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 blah. The cast, everyone is Latino or Latina, Hispanic descent. And the internet was like, "How dare you cast Luis Guzman as Gomez Adams?" I don't know.
Gomez. I'll say that again.
Uh,
Gomez.
yes, I would like to say, uh, did Raul Julia was Puerto Rican? Like nobody complained about that for two movies that, like whether love him or hate him, they were watched by millions and millions and millions of people in very popular films.
Yeah,
Um,
they helped to solidify my interest in a passion for horror and spooky elements in films. Like it adds to, as a youth growing up, that those films were fun and were set in a horror type environment that, like, it's like Halloween and
yeah,
October and fall. It helps. As a kid, that was like next to Christmas, that was the funnest time of the goddamn year for me, because it was like all the fun excitement of like so many things.
not to
And
not
so
to
yes,
mention
they're
not to
formidable.
mention developing a crush on Christina Ricci and realizing that I love goth girls.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
For sure.
developing a goth kink. Yeah, it was like it's a
So
subgenre on the hubs for a reason.
right. So back to Wednesday, we have Catherine Zeta-Jones playing Morticia, who I think will do a phenomenal job in that role. Just knowing the character and having seen the actress's range. Um, But the big casting decision that I am excited about, and the whole reason I even want to talk about this, is Jenna Ortega is playing Wednesday, who has become my new horror crush since Samara Weaving decided to do this HBO show and stop being in horror movies, although she is in Scream Six. Um, Jenna Ortega has kind of taken the reins. She's been in so many big horror movies over the last few years and is now the star of this Tim Burton television series. And if you watch the trailer, which I don't really watch trailers, but because it was a TV show, I made an exception.
right.
An exception. I mean, she just kills it. She like from this trailer alone, I'm excited about this Tim Burton show that normally I would be not interested in it at all.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's gonna be pretty fun. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
and I mean, there's gore in the trailer. Um, she this the greatest scene in the trailer. She walks into the swim team's practice, and they stop and they call her a freak, and she says, "Nobody bullies my brother but me," and she dumps two bags of piranha into the pool. And as one of them's getting out, his below the belt region gets shredded by these piranhas, and I mean the pool turns red real fast. Um, so that to me signals, a good sign for things to come with this show.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
right.
it'd be exciting. Christina Ricci is also going to be in it. I don't know what character she's going to play or whatever, but should probably be like one of the
I think she'll be
teachers or
a
something,
teacher or
or counselor or
headmistress at
something.
the school.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I was
so
hoping she'd play Morticia, but they went with all Hispanic, which is great.
so I've got a couple shorter type ones. I don't want to go into too crazy. One of them is so it was recently there's a film coming out this fall, Barbarian. Uh, it was news to me, but I saw a couple people posting clips of it because it was at a festival I think not long ago. Might have been at damn where might it have been? There's something that just happened, maybe like South by Southwest or somewhere where people have been seeing it, whether they got screeners or something to that effect. It's been out there and people are talking about it. And specifically, there was one um, person in the biz, Joe Russo, not of the Russo brothers and their fame and fortune through Avengers and Infinity War and all that other crap. This is the non MCU Joe Russo, who, again, Joe Russo is also the asinine person that was like equating their need to make garbage films is why people can make everything everywhere all at once. They need to make their stuff so that people get money to make that. Anyways, so this guy tweeted and said how Barbarian is this year's Malignant, and very clearly to me that's a clarion call. Because as you may or may not know, Nate and I both rated Malignant as the top film of 2021 for a lot of different reasons, but just fun, insane, over the top
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
ride. Like
what,
it was,
once again, I have to say that it was probably The Night House, but
yeah, yeah,
I just had so much fun watching *Malignant* that
yeah,
I couldn't give up the spot.
yeah.
It
It's
was so insane.
I think about that sometimes too. It's like it's a different kind of thing. It's what's fun about the genre is that there are there are movies on opposite ends of the spectrum that are still in the same universe, but are just you go into and you leave with very different moods and feelings. I'm like reticent to even look into anything about this movie Barbarian, and to sometimes that's to my own plight. Like it does bite me sometimes where it's like I don't look into something. I just have heard a little blip. Like that happened with shit, what did that happen with? Movies that we've reviewed before. Scary of 61st. People were
Right.
talking about it on Twitter. I was like, "Oh, we got to watch this." Garbage.
I still enjoyed it.
No, no, no,
It
no,
was
no, no.
definitely not.
No,
It was
it
definitely not
is
good. It was not good.
shit. It's shit. I think you were seduced by the female leads like eating each other out practically on the movie. Uh so shit like that. The we're all going to the World's Fair, people talking about it and like did
Oh,
not work for me.
oh my
And then the other
God.
one we watched at Take Back the Night, people are like, "Oh my, this is a voice." And it's like I think I was harsher on it than you were,
You were.
but
I kind of enjoyed Take Back the Night.
no
Uh,
means no,
no
motherfucker.
means no, motherfucker. That's a fucking line.
Yeah,
That's right out of an Arnold movie, man.
you're right, but I'm laughing at it. They think they're cute and they're just stupid. So,
All right.
anyways,
So we're talking about
we're
Barbarian still, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So, anyways, so I didn't look into anything about those films. I just saw people were talking about them. They got high praise from a certain group of people in the that critique the genre and know the genre of horror and where its place is. And so, like, you go into things because people recommend that, and sometimes you're disappointed. Those three films for me were huge disappointments. So I'm hoping that I can trust Joe Russo, who also co-hosts or is contributing to the to Mick Garrett's pod, the post-mortem pod that's on Dread Central, I believe. So he knows horror, he knows the genre, he cares about it, he celebrates it. I'm really hoping that he is astutely observing that this film could be that because it makes me kind of pumped up. But again, I haven't even looked at the description of what the film's about, and I'm not
All
not
right.
gonna watch the trailer.
Well, I do like Bill Skarsgård and Justin Long. They're both in the movie.
Yeah,
I don't know who Georgina Campbell is. Written and directed by Zach Kreger from Whitest Kids You Know.
that's
Uh,
interesting.
I love Whitest Kids, and I also love it when movies are written and directed by the same person, because unless you have some studio up your ass, your vision generally doesn't get compromised. So
Yeah, I'm
these are
hoping that I'm
those are all
hoping that
good signs for
that'll be
Barbarian being
slow.
good.
That'll be slow jerking on the way home for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right. What else we got? We got October 6th is the official date for Terrifier 2. We knew it was coming out this year. It has a release date.
Haven't seen the first
I
Terrifier.
fucking love the Terrifier, and I
Okay,
cannot wait for Terrifier
now
2.
I'll be honest with you. I'm looking at this as like an orphan situation here. I have a feeling that this is like Orphan.
So Terrifier 1, when you do watch
As
it,
far as you being really into it and
no,
me not
T-
gonna be into it, I don't know.
Terrifier 1 is way more of your classic slasher. And
Yeah,
you get introduced to the villain right away, and the movie unravels, and he just kills everybody. And that's the movie. So there's not much more.
spoiler alert.
Yeah, there's not much more going on.
Like I mean, I
Um,
imagine that was gonna be, but
yeah. So Terrifier 2 is probably more of the same, and if it's anything like Terrifier 1, I think Terrifier was unique in that the villain was yeah, he was a clown, but he was also like he didn't really look like a clown. It's more like a clown mime hybrid.
sure.
But he is the kills are all very unique and kind of fantastical. In fact, one of the kills is why you watch Terrifier, is why you talk about Terrifier. This one kill in the movie. So hopefully we'll get the same thing from
The
Terrifier 2.
sequel. So real quick, how do you feel? The other news that recently is coming out is that the film releasing on October 14th. Uh,
Halloween ends.
correct. However, Nate, I don't know if you'll notice, but on the posters and the promotional materials that are being released, it's going to be in theaters and on streaming the same day, which is its own thing. But it's just the poster art is just saying ends. It's just a photo of Michael and of Lori, and the word ends is there. Not Halloween ends October 14th. Just
Right. It just
ends
ends.
this October. Like it just like and it's kind of like taking the wind out of the sails, I think, because like it's like no, Halloween ends is like kind of saying that together is the whole point. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What do you, who are the ad wizards that came up with this one?
Well, I think maybe let me just do a little search here. I think they might be trying to allude to something. Let's see what David Gordon Green has coming up. No, he just has The Exorcist and the Hellraiser TV series. So if you
Oh, you're
didn't,
thinking
if
of
you,
like a re-envisioning or another
no,
one?
I heard that the Halloween 2018 trilogy is actually four movies. I heard that it got
Oh,
greenlit first. So Halloween Ends actually isn't the end, and there is
no,
going to
no,
be a
no,
fourth
no,
one.
no. Dude, I'm not. Halloween and Michael Myers will always be near and dear to my heart as being like what really got me into the genre. But you cannot do that. Do not do that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, if you look it up, it's just saying ends this Halloween. Like a
Okay.
lot of the new stuff, you can see the stuff where they did Halloween ends, but now it's just like they're focusing on we're just gonna write the word ends, and it's weird.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it makes me like concerned. Like, wait, is evil gonna die tonight?
Yeah.
I need to know.
Well,
Um,
okay. Well, I mean, so Halloween Kills at the end, I mean, they confirmed that it's paranormal, right? Like there's no way he survives the killing by the mob as an actual human. So how does evil die?
right, the supernatural element, right?
Yeah, he has to. There has to be something like, and
But we knew that from the beginning. We knew that from the very first one
yeah,
in '78. Like we knew it was supernatural. That's why it was so fearful, you know. But like, yeah,
right.
they're hiding it, and so like, yes, what does ending mean? How is it really going to end? We went through this before when we talked about Halloween Kills, which was fun, but it is a bit hokey, you know. Like, but you kind of just have to enjoy it. There's moments that are stupid. I don't like the mob aspect of it. Really, it's kind of hokey, but it's enjoyable. Uh, Real quick, little rapid fire news. Did
Sure.
you see Killer Clowns from Outer Space is
Got
getting
a
new
video
life?
game?
Yeah, and the guys that made the original movie are a part of this new story in the game.
Really?
Yeah, they're a part of it. The Chiodos brothers, I think,
Okay.
and so they're in part of the conversation, and that's exciting. I think they're doing a new attraction at Universal, and which I saw a trailer for that. That looked cool. And now there's going to be a new video game. I'm excited that I think that this might mean if that kind of media gets well received, perhaps they will make another movie. Killer Clowns for me is like a classic
Oh,
camp 80s movie.
such a classic. I think I watched it more than anything else growing up.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I, like Killer Clowns from Outer Space was like, I mean, the popcorn that turned into the monsters in the laundry basket, the
Cotton candy
the
things that
cotton
they're putting
candy
the
gun. They
crazy straws in to get
stick
the
the
blood.
yeah. They drink the blood from the crazy straws.
There's so
The
many cool gags
so many
in a
yeah. Um, yeah, I just love Killer Clowns. Even coming down to how they win, like how they kill the
yeah,
monster
yeah.
giant
The
clown.
nose.
He pops the nose with his badge,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. The star for the sheriff's badge.
yeah,
He's like,
with his sheriff's badge. I mean it was, I mean
yeah, the
just
circus
fantastic the
tent
whole
being
way
just a
through
subterfuge for the spaceship that they
for the
came in on.
spaceship. Yeah, yeah,
It's wild, and it just yeah,
yeah,
and it starts where they're on an overlook and they see it. It's so many classic tropey type things that are just done in such a fun, campy way. What a great movie.
yeah,
So that's exciting. And then yeah, I didn't have a whole lot else. I guess there's all this kerfuffle going on with streaming and with Batgirl being canned, and then all kinds of other IPs at Warner Brothers with this guy taking over as CEO and just like cutting and running with a lot of different art that people have like labored over for the past several years that are just never going to see the light of the day because it's easier for them to just write it off and take it as loss
oh,
and
as opposed to finish it.
yeah, it was finished as opposed to releasing it and possibly
Really?
making money. Yeah, like the Batgirl, the
Yeah.
one with Michael Keaton and this girl, like the original Michael Keaton was in playing Batman in it. Like it's just done. Like it will
And
never see the light of day.
it's not coming out.
Not coming out. They
Is it a show?
slammed. It was a movie.
It was a movie.
Batgirl.
The
Yeah, it
movie
was
just called
100% done.
Batgirl.
It was done. Yeah, it's got like people of color and different like ethnic directors that like are like like I think there's Muslim guys who are in charge. So like there's all this like potential like okay there's these white CEOs that are doing something and so people are suspect of that. But it's just in general it's the idea that a company that obviously has a bottom line is going to make decisions based upon a bottom line, not necessarily the art form. And so it's just it's a it's not I'm not saying it's a canary in a coal mine, but it's something that's there that just heightens the a few things. There's a divide there right now between our ability to stream whatever media that we want and versus owning physical media. Like
Right.
that's a real thing. If you can own physical media of things that you know and love, you really should. It helps support
Yeah.
the people that made that, and you have it now to relive whenever you want. At any moment, like we've seen between all these different services Paramount, Netflix, Hulu, HBO, Amazon Prime, things come and go. And sometimes they go forever and there's certain things that
Yeah.
just are never uploaded, and so it's a weird thing. It's a weird time. If you want to enjoy the art you really have to grab physical copies of it.
Honestly, because most things are rentable on Prime Video, I'm like very close to just canceling all my streaming services and just like
Yeah, I know.
renting on Prime Video when I have to watch something for the show.
I've been
Something
considering
I
that.
can't see in theaters anyway. Yeah,
I will always see in theaters if there's a release like
if it's an
that's the other thing
option, yeah.
too. Yeah, which I guess can bring us to a close
Yeah.
for next week
So next week,
because we
bodies.
were complaining last week. I
Yes,
was at least.
yes, I was complaining too. Bodies didn't come to our towns, but it is in both of our towns' theaters, and will be the subject of next week's episode.
Yes. So for better or worse, we will be discussing that. I'm
I,
hoping. I mean, look,
I,
A24. I know you have hesitations with
I
the
am
old
I'm gonna willingly watch something with Pete Davidson in
yeah.
it, but only because it's A24. So I mean,
There
A24
was
is good for
there was
something,
a
right?
there was a recent little snafu also that occurred related to bodies because there was a film critic that mentioned something and had a DM exchange with one of the actresses, and it was posted in a public setting, and it just
Ooh.
highlighted it. And then this critic decided to put a post on Talk or Instagram about like really like humble brag and speaking from this annoyingly privileged position, but with zero awareness of that. Like she's pontificating about why she's just amazing at what she does. Like some people are just naturally good film critics. Like I didn't do any schooling for it, but like I'm just naturally gifted. I know what I'm talking about, and it's proven because I got published on the New York Times when I was 24. And it's like if you look behind that, it's like, well, your dad runs the New York Times or works at the New York Times, so that's why you got published on the fucking page at 24 without any credentials. So are you aware of that? It's a little thing. Just
Yeah,
and it was all related to bodies. So hopefully we can enjoy the film, which I think I'm looking forward to. I don't know. I mean, it's A24. A24
it's
rarely misses.
A24 party slasher. I mean, the setup is fine. Like, how many party slashers are bad? Like, I mean, even bad ones are still like fives or sixes. Like, they're still fun to watch, and
Yeah.
you get some good comedy. This puts itself in the horror comedy genre.
Ooh, party
Uh,
slashers. Yeah.
so like, um, so it's already not going to take itself seriously. It'll be very like genre referential,
Hmm.
hopefully, and I
Yeah.
mean,
I mean, what's the most recent one that I can think of that sits in that genre? I don't know if Ready or Not fits as a party slasher, but it kind of does. Like, I
yeah,
mean, there's a gathering of people and like an event, and it
yeah.
feels like
The,
that a little bit.
they're all in the house for the whole movie. I mean, for
Yeah,
mostly the whole,
right.
practically the whole movie. I mean,
And that's very fun.
yeah, yeah, that was a great movie. Lots of fun.
Yeah,
Loved the ending. What a fantastic ending.
yeah. I gotta rewatch it. It was a lot of fun.
All right, for episode 4 of the podcast for the recently deceased, I'm Nate Roberts,
I'm Rodney Godek. Take care.
and we'll see you next time.